This is a brochure and we are supposed to design this in Word.
Your best work begins with an idea, and we'll show you how Word brings your ideas to life with collaboration, editing tools, and design. Start composing in your own words, and then format text with themes. If you'd like to collaborate, share your document on OneDrive with a click. Then chat, comment, and co-author documents to work with others at the same time. You can even make Skype calls from your document to brainstorm on the spot. While review and track changes, keep everyone on the same page. Polish your words with powerful proofing tools and style suggestions from Editor. And with a web browser or the Word mobile app, you can view and edit docs from wherever and whenever a thought strikes. Learn how to bring out your best writing with Word. Let's get started.
This morning we want to design something like this. This is a brochure and we are supposed to design this in Word. Now we select these assignments because in creating them you get to discover and use all the tools in Microsoft Word. And so this is what we are going to do, and it will help us achieve what we want to achieve today. I'll be sharing these two images for the work, so I'll just copy them for you, and if you are watching online you can check the description and download it. Alright, so let's get started. Let's open our Microsoft Word and start. Okay, so this is Microsoft Word, and when you check the document page, you can see that it looks vertical. But if you check the work we are referencing, it looks horizontal. And so we need to work on the orientation. And so when you open to Microsoft Word, you can zoom in to the layout. On the layout tab, you can zoom into the layout tab and then find orientation. So the first thing we want to talk about is orientation, and orientation simply talks about the layout of your document paper, whether it is vertical or horizontal. Looking at the work we want to do, our work is supposed to be horizontal. Alright, so let's click on this arrow here and check what we'll find. Over here we can see two types of orientations. I can see portrait and I can see landscape. Now I want you to study the two carefully and tell me which one is selected. Alright, so when you check these two, you can see that portrait is selected. So you can see that portrait is selected here, and what that means is that your current document is portrait. Now before I change it, I want to show you something. On this screen you can see a white rectangle in the background. When you scroll down, you can see where it ends. Now this white box or rectangle here is the paper your work is going to be printed on. So in Microsoft Word they give you a paper. So a white paper is what you see in the background, and this particular paper has a specific size. You can check the size of the paper whether it's in A4 or not. Actually, let's do that. So before we move to orientation, let's look at size. When you click here, you can see all the sizes show up, and over here I'm seeing that there is a particular size that is selected. The name of that size is called letter, and the dimension here is saying 8.5 by 11 inches, and that particular size is known as letter. Now I want you to understand that the word letter here is a size, a recognized size. When you scroll through this, you are going to find another size that is called A4. Most of the time you hear A4, A3, A5, A2, A1, and sometimes you think these are papers. A4 is not a paper. A4 is not talking about the material. A4 is a size. It is exactly 8.27 inches by 11.69 inches. That size is called A4. So the material can be a hard card. You can still call it A4. It can be an office copy paper. You still call it A4. Not because of the material, but because of the what? The size. The size is what is called A4. What you need to understand about these sizes is that when you double A4 exactly, you get A3. So double of A4 will give you A3. Double of A3 will give you what? A2. Half of A4 will give you what? A5. If you don't know A5 size, it is exactly half of A4, and that is what is used for flyers. Now, what you need to pay attention to right now is that the current document you are working on in Microsoft Word, you can see that the document is not in A4. The document is in letter. Now, what is letter? Letter is actually the standard size used in America, USA, for documents. And so because Microsoft Word came from the United States, letter has been set as a default. They have a paper called a letter paper, and that letter paper is similar to A4. It looks just like A4, but the dimensions are a little bit different. If you check here, you can see that the width here is 8.5. When you check A4, the width is 8.27. So letter is a little bit wider than A4, but check the height. Letter is 11 inches. A4 is 11.69. A4 is taller. Letter is wider. So the width of letter is more than A4, but it's a little bit shorter. I have seen the letter paper before. In America, that is what they use for their office documents. So Microsoft Word is set to the letter. Now, like I told you, if you look in the background, you can see some white thing in the background. That white thing you are seeing is actually the paper your document is going to be created on. So you can change the size to A4, and you can see that immediately you change, certain things will change. Immediately I selected it, I saw the background resize. Alright, so now my document is A4. The next thing I'll talk about is the orientation. So I'll move here to orientation, and I can see the two orientations here. I'm going to select the horizontal one because right now the portrait is what is selected, and that is vertical, but I want my work to be horizontal. So I'm going to select the horizontal, and it's going to look this way. So now I can see that the paper has turned in a horizontal way. Let me look at my reference work, and what I'm noticing here is that the top margins here, I want to set mine to look like this. So when I look here, I can come here and check my top margin. My top margin will be down here on the ruler. So this is the margin I have. Remember, the margin creates white space around your document. So if you have a document like this, you can see that there is space at the top, space at the left, space at the right, and space at the bottom. These are known as the margins. Now these margin spaces, sometimes you can adjust them. Microsoft has set it to the recommended margin for letters and certain types of documents. So if you are typing a letter, you don't have to adjust the margins. The margins you have are okay, especially in the portrait orientation. And of course, your letter has to be portrait. So the margins are okay for letters and some other documents. But if you are using Word for other works that will require you to adjust the margins, you have to. So let me work on the top margin. You can see the ruler here. If your ruler is not showing, go to the View tab and you find ruler and you check the box here. Once this box is checked, your ruler will show. My ruler is showing. So what I'm going to do here is to adjust my top margin. Now, to adjust your top margin, you have to bring your pointer on the ruler and bring the pointer to the edge of the margin where the margin ends. Immediately it gets to that line, the pointer is going to change. Your mouse cursor is going to change to this top and bottom arrow. If you don't see this top and bottom arrow, you cannot adjust your margin. If the arrow is like this, it's not going to work. But if you get a top bottom arrow pointer, you can actually click and hold and drag it upwards. So I think something like this should work. So this is a margin I'm creating, just a small one here. All right, let me check my original again. I'll check all the margins. The left margin is so small, I need to set mine to the same. Let me see the right margin. I'll set it to be equal to the left. Usually left should be equal to right, top should be equal to bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me set the left margin. Setting the left margin is the most difficult thing to do. The reason is that on the ruler we have some two handles here that controls the indent. So this is called the left indent. If you move to the far right, you see another one for the right indent. And this one at the top here is the first line indent. It only controls the first line of a paragraph. And so trying to adjust your margins will be a little challenging, because if you don't gauge the ruler well, you may end up moving the indent handles. And the indent handles are not what we intend to move. Moving this is wrong. This is not what we want to move. Undo. What we want to move is the ruler itself. The margin the ruler has created here, the gray area. So you come to the middle here and gauge till your mouse pointer turns to the left right arrow pointer. You see, even for me it was hard to find. And so anytime you are adjusting your left margin, you need to work and get it. If it's too difficult, you can move the indent handles away and it will be very easy. Then when you finish, you bring them back, because they have to be at the edge as well. So what I usually do is that I come to the middle and I try to find it. This is what you need. Once you see this arrow, you click and hold and you can drag to where you want. So when I check the sample, I think this should be okay. This should do for my left margin. I'll do the same to the right margin. Right margin is easy because the indent is just one at the bottom. So the top here are all free for you to get. So you can see that I have it, and even when I shake my mouse, I still have the arrow I'm looking for. So I'll click on it and I'll adjust this to where I think it should be. I think this is okay. Then I will look at the top again and set the bottom to look just like the top. So I'll come to the bottom and I'll see the margin here on the ruler. Bottom margin, I will drag it down and create something like this. I think I'm done. Right now I want you to create your margins for me to see. Size first, orientation second, and then the margin should be third. Now what I'm interested in is for you to remember how to set the size and set the orientation and adjust the margins. Because of the work what we are working on, we need to set the margin to be like the work we are working on. So we have to do the orientation first, then we can adjust the margin, because if you don't do the orientation, the margins you are trying to set will be wrong. So the margin should be the last thing to do. Because adjusting the margin is very important. There are a lot of documents that you will have to adjust the margins before you can create them. So if adjusting the margin is a problem, you'll be having issues with Microsoft Word. Sometimes when you are setting your margins, you can actually use a ruler to set based on the dimension. For example, here I'm leaving 2 bars. So you can see that there's one in the middle. When I move to the far left, I can do the same. And leave just 2 bars like this with one in the middle. That means the left is uniform, or is the same as the right. At the top, I can check how I do it, and I can gauge this if I'm not seeing the measurement, and I can come to the bottom and do exactly the same thing. Other times, I can actually, when I double click on this, I'm double clicking on the ruler. A dialog box has just opened right now called the page setup. This particular page setup, you can see that they allow you to adjust the margins from here. Can you see margins? So you can come here and set your top 0.25, left 0.25, bottom 0.25, right, you see my right too should be 0.25. So sometimes you can double click on the ruler and come here and set it. Like I said, they are all in inches. For now, we are not going to go through changing the units, but you can change the unit to centimeters so that it will be easy for you to use a ruler to gauge, because a ruler is a real ruler that you can use to gauge what you are doing. So using this dialog box can help you set it well. All right, so let me click OK, and my margins have been set. So this is how you can set your margins. This particular work, setting the margin is important. There are a lot of works that the margin will be important. All right, so let's begin. Apart from margins, you can see that this particular work is in 3 columns. I don't know if you have noticed. It is in 3 columns. It is not a straightforward document. It is like a brochure. It is a brochure actually, and a brochure will be folded in 3 folds. So this document, when it is printed, it will be folded in 3 folds. I don't know if you've seen any brochure like that. Haven't you seen a 3-fold brochure? This is the A4. When you go to the bank, they give you some brochures like this, and you have some design here, even some wedding programs. So what you do is that when you open, you can see different information in the middle. That's a 3-fold brochure. So that is something like this. Now what we are seeing here is the inside of the brochure. The inside of the brochure. Next time we can design the outside as well, but we want to design the inside. So we need to set the columns into 3. We need to set the columns into 3. So let me go back to Word and do that setting as well. Now all the settings we are doing here are on the layout tab. Let me come here, and you can see that this is also next to it. So today we have touch margins. Do you see margins? Do you see margins? We've worked on margins. We've worked on orientation. We've worked on size. And right now we are working on columns. We are going to work on columns. So when I click on columns, I will see 1. Most of the time, your Word document gives you 1 column. Sometimes you can set your work into 2 columns. And this is a preview of a 2-column work. Have you ever seen any document in 2 columns before? Give me an example of anything you've seen in 2 columns. Journals, newspapers. You see newspapers are in columns, or you don't see that? Yes. Sometimes even Bible is in 2 columns. Okay. Now sometimes we have 3 columns. Other times we have 2 with a smaller left and a wider right. And sometimes we have 2 with a wider left and a smaller right. Okay, so today we are going to work with the 3 column. Now, immediately we select 3 column, you can see that the document from the ruler, it is broken into 3. So we can see a small section here, 1, second section here, 2, and the third section here, 3. This is extremely important. So you can see that the document has been broken into 3. So these are called the columns. So kindly set your columns to 3. Now I want to show you something else. The columns also come with margins. And what happens is that your column margins will determine the boundaries around your column. When I check our reference work, I can see that the boundaries are not that, the gap in the middle, they are not that wide. But the columns we have created here have wider gaps. So what I'll do is that I'll go into it and watch this. You can readjust, and I'm going to readjust this one, and you can see that it affects this one automatically. So I'll come here and I will readjust this. You can see that the other one too is readjusting. Can you see? Good. So I can readjust this, and I have reduced the width of the gutter or the gap in the column. So anytime you create a column, you need to set the gutters here. Alright, so now our page setup is looking well. We can go ahead and start creating the document. So our columns have been created. The column margins have been set. You need to set the column margins. And this is not talking about the first margins we set. We are talking about the inner ones. The margins that appeared in the middle. We can see 2 gray areas here. We need to adjust them. Alright. So now our page setup is done. All we have to do is to start creating our document. So I'm going to type founded in 1936. So let me type it. I'm not going to do copy and paste right now. I'll type founded in 1936. Now watch this. You can see that this is designed in a specific way with a color and a bold and a special size before this text appears. Anytime you want to work on the formatting, we call this a formatting or the styling. Anytime you want to work on the styling, make sure you move to a new line before you work on the style. So what is recommended is that after typing this, don't just start styling, because when you start styling, your styling will affect the entire document. So after typing this, break the line by pressing enter. 1, 2. Then it is advisable to start typing what is under it. So here, this time let me copy this and let me copy that. If I'm typing, I will just type, but I just want to copy and paste. Now to paste, you always have to remember the paste special. Last time we talked about the paste special. So watch something like this. On the home tab, we can see paste. Don't click on paste from here. Click on the arrow and you can see that there are several options. Anytime you see these options, it means that if you had pasted from here, or if you paste with Ctrl V, you will have problems. So here I'm going to use the keep text only, and I'm talking about text in cases where you need a text for your document. Don't paste it with these styles. If you paste it with these styles, it's going to affect you. Just paste the text only, or go to paste special, and under paste special in Word we have the unformatted text, HTML format, unformatted Unicode text. I want to use unformatted text. Then I'll select OK, and the text will come in its raw format. This is the same as the first option that said keep text only. Now that I have something under here, I can go ahead and style this. You don't style immediately you finish typing it. If you want to do it immediately, at least break the line and bring the text cursor to the next line before you highlight this and style it. Because if you don't break the line and you style it, whatever you do next will come in the same style. Alright, now let's format it. We are going to style the founded in 1936. So let's look at how it looks here. And when you get more experience in document creation, you realize that you'll be able to recognize font names. So when I see this font, I see the font and I remember the name of the font because of how it looks. It is different from this one. This one is not that bold like this. And here I'm not talking about the size. Obviously this one has a bigger size than this, but I'm talking about the type, the font itself. So I'll come here and I'll set my font. I'll change it to that font. That font I recognize is this. It's called Arial Black. You can see how Arial Black is already bold. Whether the size is 11 or 12, you can see that it is already bold. Now this one is Calibri 11. This is Arial 11. I've not even made it bold yet. You can see that the B is not selected, but it already looks bold. That is the nature of that font. So anytime I see it, I recognize it immediately. Alright, so now I know the font they used. I've selected it, and let me check the size. I'm going to guess the size. I think the size should be like 38. So I'll come here and highlight this, and I'm going to set it to size 38. I can use an increase size to get it. 1, 2, 3, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 36. Okay, I didn't see 38. If I try reducing it, I'll still not get 38. So in this case, I need to click in here and type it myself. 38. Enter. So I gave it 38, and it looks like this. I've set the size to what we are supposed to do. Now let me look at this again. The next thing I'm realizing is that the gap in between these two, they are quite closer than mine. Mine looks too wide. Mine looks too wide. So what I'm going to do is that I'll highlight these two and check where I can close up the gap. So first of all, I'm going to go to line and paragraph spacing. I will make sure I choose 1.0 line spacing, and I'll check if it has worked. It has not worked. I'll come here and check if there are any paragraph spacing. I can see this remove. I'll remove and check. It hasn't worked. It is still the same. So what you will do is that instead of choosing a paragraph and line spacing, we can click here and open the paragraph settings. So this particular button here, when I click on it, paragraph settings will open. When paragraph settings opens, I can see line spacing here. Line spacing. So here under the art, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to see 0.5. 0.5. Now this is what I'm going to do. After seeing the 0.5, I'll click OK. Now look at what the 0.5 did. The 0.5 has closed it too much than what I want. This is how I want it to look. And I tried closing the gap here, and it has done it too much. So I'll go back there and see what I can do. So I'll click on the top arrow, and I'm seeing that 1. I tried 1 didn't work. The space 1 gave me was too much. When I tried down, 0.52 is too tight. So what I'll do is that I'll come here and try something like 0.7. So I'll click OK, and I can see that it's coming. Let me go back there and change it to 0.8. I think it looks much better. So this is supposed to be 0.8, the line spacing. The next thing is a color. This color, I recognize the color because this is cyan or cyan. So I'll highlight this, and I'll go to color text and give it our favorite cyan. The cyan is down here under the standard colors. This one, cyan. So we have done that. Can you do that for me? All right, let's continue. The next thing we'll do is to arrange this text to look the same. Now when I check this text here, it is having a single line spacing. So I'll come here and I'll highlight everything and give it a single line spacing. So I'll go to the line and paragraph spacing and give it 1.0. I have set it, but it looks like it still looks the same. I've actually realized that the lines are broken. So I'll come in front of this 14 and press backspace to let it join the line it's supposed to join, then space. Because if the line is broken, it will automatically create a paragraph spacing. So this is also supposed to go and join that line. So all I have to do here is to press backspace for this to join. I think this is a new paragraph, so I'll leave it and come here, press backspace, and this is happening because we actually copied and pasted. If we had typed, we wouldn't have gotten this problem. All right, so now it looks much better. Let me check again. I think the gap here is more than mine is too close, so I'll come here and separate these two like this. Now after separating these two, I'll check again and see what is not okay. Now the gap here is smaller than mine is having too much. So this is what I'll do. I've recognized that we have a paragraph spacing here. I've also recognized that there's a paragraph spacing here as well. So I'll highlight these two lines from here, highlight these two lines, go to the line and paragraph spacing, and of course I'll see remove space after paragraph. So I'll remove it. Immediately I remove, it looks much better and it looks almost the same. Now when I check this, I can see that it is justified. Justified means the right side should be straight like this. It means it is justified. So both left and right will be straight. So usually the left is straight but the right is not straight, and that tells you it is not justified. So I'll highlight all of them and I'll justify. Immediately I justify, see that they look very professional, very straight like this. This is what I'm looking for. Let me do more inspection. Let me check the space here. Is it the same as mine? Looks very similar. Looks very similar. I think we should leave it. Or let me come here and remove. Okay, so I've removed the paragraph spacing from here. Let's see. All right, so let's do it this way. At least it's looking okay now. It's looking okay now. Excellent. So let's continue. Now the next thing to do is to insert the image, the first image. Now in Microsoft Word, you can insert images. To do that, just go to the Insert tab. On the Insert tab, you can see right here that we have pictures. And that's exactly what I want to do. I'll click on it and I'll choose where the picture is coming from. Is it from this device or from online? It's from this device. So I'll select this device, and what I have to do is to browse for the picture. So where is the picture saved? I need to browse and get it. So let me do that. Alright, so I've gotten to the folder where I can find the picture. They are all here. I'll select the first one. This is what I'm looking for. Insert. Immediately you insert, it should insert like this. So now let's compare what we've done here to the original. When we check the original, this looks quite different from ours. First of all, we need some gap here. And look at how the picture looks. And look at this picture. Let's study it carefully. You can see that the picture here ends somewhere close to the ears of this guy, and this one too ends closer to the eye of this lady. But when you look at ours, it doesn't look like that. So what can we do? We need to do what is called cropping. Cropping is a process of cutting parts of an image. So anytime you are working in images, anytime you are working with images in Microsoft Word, cropping is one of the things you'll be doing a lot. Apart from cropping, you'll be doing adjustment of brightness and contrast, and working on the color of the image, and sometimes the sharpness. So what I'll do here right now, I'll click on it and I'll show you something. Immediately you click on it, there is a new tab that will show on the ribbon that is called Picture Tools, Picture Format. That is where you need to go. When you click on it, you get what you want. Most of the time, this is what I do. I will double click on the image. When you double click on the image, what happens is that it will automatically open the picture format for you. At first, I had to come here and open it, but when I double click, it has already opened that tab. And to the far right of that tab, I'm going to see something here called what? Crop. So I'll click on it. Immediately you click on crop, you are going to see some handles appear around your photo. They are there to help you do the cropping. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll come and hold the right one here, click and drag, and place it where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be very close to his ears, like this. Then over here, this one closes in closer to her eyes, like this. So when you are done, click outside. This is what we have. It's beginning to look like that. Now let's check the height. First of all, we said we need a gap here. Let me press enter to create a gap here. The gap I've created, I can see that it's too much when you compare it with the original. So this is what I'll do. This is what I'll do. For me, I have recognized immediately that paragraph spacing has been created there. So I'll highlight this last line and the empty line, and I'll come here and remove space after paragraph. Immediately I do that, the paragraph spacing will disappear and I'll be okay. Let me compare again. I think mine has become too short now. So what I'll do is that I will add paragraph spacing to one of the lines. I'll highlight the empty one, come here. This time I'm not removing, I'm clicking add paragraph space. So it has given me something that I think will be okay. Alright. Okay, so please do these adjustments and we'll continue. Cropping is very easy to do, and you have to be an expert in cropping. It's very easy to do. You just need to move these handles and you are okay. When you finish, come outside and click outside and you have your work cropped. Now, the space over here, I have set mine and mine is looking okay now. If you have not set yours, do that. The reason why I want to pay attention to the space here is because the picture has a height. When you check this one, this picture is almost closer to the bottom of the page, but ours doesn't look that way. So we are going to resize the image. Now, when you are resizing something in a column, you have to be sure that you don't over resize it for it to cross over the column. So what we want to do is that we know where this particular indent ends. So when we are resizing, we should take note of this particular margin here, this margin, so that the picture will not be more than this margin. So I'll click on the picture. I'll say this again, that when we are resizing pictures, we don't resize from the right because it will distort the picture. It will no longer look correct. We don't resize from the left, it will do the same thing. We don't resize from the top, it will also spoil the picture. And we don't resize from the bottom because it will also spoil the picture. We never use 1, 2, 3, 4 for complete images. We only use them for shapes and designs that are not yet completed. If there is any image that is complete, you can never use 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can never use them. Let me undo. The only handles you can use for resizing completed images will be the corner, the diagonal ones. Any of them will work. I'm going to use this particular one here. So I'll click and drag, considering my column margin. This is where my column margin ends. So I'll let my photo end somewhere there. Excellent. So you can see that I have resized the photo. The next thing I'll do is to check again. I can see that this photo has rounded corners. Mine is having square corners. So I need to make mine look the same. Most of the time when you are working on images, there are certain settings you do. I'm going to apply one here. I'll double click on it, and just like I saw the picture format and I went to crop, on that same tab I'm going to find picture style, and there are a lot of picture styles. Any one you select will let the picture behave in a certain way. Anyone you select will let the picture behave a certain way. Now, I'm not okay with all of them apart from this one. And this one, what it does is that it actually rounds the corners and creates a reflection for you to think that the picture is sitting on a glass. Sometimes we need a reflection, sometimes we don't need. If you check the finished work, this one does not have any reflection, but this one here, you see there's a reflection. So I'm going to remove the reflection and we'll see. To do that, click double click, and this is what we'll do. Under the same picture styles, I'll go to picture effects, click on it, then I'll go to reflection. Then over here there are several options. I'll select no effects, and what will happen is that the reflection will be gone and the picture will remain, and the case is closed. Problem is solved. So this is the first column complete. We've completed the first column. Now we move to the second and third. Alright, so I think we've successfully designed the first column. Let me check again. I think we are okay. Let's focus on the second column. Over here, I'm going to type this. I'm not going to copy and paste. I'm going to type our programs. I'm going to type technological literacy, and I may copy the rest. So I come here in the second column. I realize that I don't have anywhere to click. This is why I told you that before formatting, you need to break the line. We didn't break some lines, that is why we don't have anywhere to click. Okay, it's good we are experiencing this so that we can learn from it. So let me show you what to do. Because the last item here is a picture, click next to the picture and you see a cursor blinking next to the picture. Once you see that, press enter and it will go to the next column for you. Mine has centered to the mid center, has centered. I'll bring it back to the left. So now I'm in the second column. I'm going to type our programs. Press enter, enter again, and I'm going to type technological literacy. Enter, enter. These enters I put there, they are there to help me continue working, because if I don't break those lines, next time it will be difficult to get them. Now look at these two headings and tell me what similarity you can find. The two headings here, what similarity do you see? Now I'm happy you've noticed that their style or their format look alike. Now anytime you face a situation like that, this is what you do. To get a professional work done, if you see another heading or another text that is having the same style as something you have done previously, what you are not supposed to do is to try creating the second one, because if you try doing it manually, you may make some mistakes. So this is what you do. Highlight or come and click anywhere in the middle of what you had before and use this tool here called the format painter. Click on the format painter once and come and highlight the text you want to apply the effect to. Immediately you release your mouse, it will give you the same styling. Our work is done over there by using the format painter. Remember, the format painter is an incredible tool that is used to copy styling from one text to another text, and you can use it to copy any style from any text to another text. All right, if you are done, then we can continue. Now, technological literacy, I'm seeing that it's supposed to be on this line, but it's not on this line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight here, because I've seen that there's a paragraph spacing down here. So I highlight this, come to line and paragraph spacing, remove space after paragraph, and now they are in line. So with this one, I'll make sure I have a break, and then I will make it bold. Immediately you highlight this, just make it bold. Now let me come here, and actually I'm going to copy everything from here to here. I'll come into my work. I'm going to paste only the text without formatting. I can see that some of them are broken. I'll repair them. And any of the subheadings that are not for the company is from another company. So here, I think I'll highlight everything and justify, because mine is not justified. I just justified it. I will highlight this computing infrastructure, make it bold. Highlight scholarships and financial aid, make it bold. Now, what I am seeing here is that there's a unique gap here, and when we create these two gaps, we'll be able to format it well. So what I'll do is that I'll come here and click here and press enter, and anytime you press enter next to a link, it will change its style. I don't need the changes they are giving me. I'll create my own style. So when you see anything like that, press Ctrl Z and the style they give you will go away. Over here I have the same issue. Enter, Ctrl Z. Alright, now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to close up the space under this because it's not supposed to be here. There, the paragraph spacing under this. So I'll come here. Sorry, paragraph spacing. I'll come here and remove space after paragraph. Okay, I'll do same to this space here. It's too much. I actually select all the two. I have witnesses. I'll click here and choose this, and now this has come to this line, and that's exactly what I wanted. What I'll do is I'll highlight this, then I'll come and make it italic and come and choose the cyan color. Over here I can see a space under this computing paragraph spacing. I'll come here, remove space after paragraph. Now this remove space after paragraph, you've seen how many times we've already used it, and we'll still be using it. Okay, over here I can see that there's something wrong here. Let me check the original. Alright, here I'm supposed to press enter, and I'm going to remove the space under this. Then the email address, I'll highlight it, make it italics, and then, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to make it italics. This is what I'm going to do. Because I've created one already, guess what I can use? The format painter. I'll click anywhere and come and take the format painter. Once I have the format painter, I can come to the email I want to format, and you can see that it is coming this time with a certain brush. Anytime you see this icon with the brush, it means my format painter. So I'll come here, highlight everything here, and it has applied it. Let me fix this part too. Let me apply the email format to it. Format printer. And I think the space under this is too much, so I'll highlight it and then remove space after paragraph. Alright, so let's continue. Let's check the reference work. Okay, I can see that we have another heading here that says our project. I'm going to type it. I'm not going to copy. I'll come here, hit enter, type our project, enter, enter again. Then we have Tech Hub Conference. Let me type that. Tech Hub Conference, enter. Then the text here, I'm going to copy everything. Then I'll try pasting it here. I'll paste it with keep text only. Now, I want you to tell me how I'll design our project. Tell me what I'll be doing. Excellent. You are very smart. So any of them will do. I can click in the middle, click on the format printer, and come back. This our project. I just have to highlight it like this. Immediately I release, it will have the same styling, and this saves a lot of time. All right, let's continue. So what I'll do is that I'll check my spacing and everything. Okay, I'll need some more space somewhere here. I'll highlight this. I'm going to add this space. Make this one bold. Over here, I'm seeing that the gaps are too much, so I'm going to close by pressing backspace, and space, backspace and space. All right, so I can see everything here. The email should join this text, so I'll check and remove paragraph spacing. Highlight the email and give it email global. Let me pick the formatting from here. Click anywhere here, pick the format printer, apply it to this email, and it will get it. Let me check and see. Okay, the gap here is too much for me, so I'll highlight here. I can see a paragraph spacing. Come here and remove it. Let me check. It's perfect now. Let me justify this text. Always remember to justify. So justify, it looks better. All right, so we are done with the second column. So let's complete the final column. Let's check our reference work. With this one, we have a photo at the top right, so we are going to insert a photo first. Let me check if the line break is here. It is not there, so let me come here, and this is bad because this one has a formatting on it. Press enter. When you see this, press undo to clear it. Enter again. So the cursor has come here. We should have had the cursor here before, because watch this. Whatever we type will appear in the formatting of what the last formatting we did. This is why your cursor needs to be ahead of your formatting. Anyway, if you have a problem like this, how do you solve it? This is what we'll do. Let me highlight the text here and come to the styles we learned the last time and select normal. Normal will strip away the formatting. So we have solved it. Let me clear it, and now I have my cursor there. Now let me break the line like 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and come back to the top and insert my photo. So I go to insert like we did before, pictures, this device, and I will insert the second picture. Now when I insert the second picture, look at how the second picture is appearing. It's different from how this looks. So I can see some rounded corners and some reflection. Let me set it and see. I'll double click on the picture and I can see that setting here. Okay, so I've done the rounded corners and the reflection. The next thing I have to do is to adjust the position of the picture. I can see that the top right section of the picture bleeds on the paper itself. It is just at the edge of the paper itself. There are no margins. When I check mine, I can see margins. So what will I do? I'll click on it and try enlarging and see. When I try enlarging, it has gone into the right, but it's not going, the top is not entering. Let me undo and show you what to do. Now, before I do that, let me come here and press enter some more to create some space here. Okay. Now watch what I'm going to do. Double click on the picture and move up here to wrap text and change the property of the picture to this one that says in front of text. If you don't use this in front of text, right now one of them is selected. This one is selected. You can see that it is in line with text. If it's in line with text, you cannot do some adjustments. So I want in front of text. Now with the in front of text, watch what I can do. If I resize this, you can see that it is working. So I will resize it and check the original. Make sure it looks the same. Mine is too much. I can also use my mouse pointer to control the picture once it's in this property. Alright, so I think I've done it. Now let's continue with the text. This one says value to members. Let me type that. You see now I'm finding it difficult to locate my text cursor. That's why I said you should type a lot of them, because now that this one is in front of text, it will cover the others. So let me try and locate it. Let me come down here and press right arrow. Okay, I've located it. Let me count down. Sorry. And press enter. Okay, so now I'm here. So it says that we need value to members. Enter. All right. So value to members. Let me copy everything here and go and paste. Remember, I need to paste the text only. So keep text only. I have everything there. Now let me format the value to members. I will use a format printer so you can see how useful the format printer is. I'll click anywhere in the previously formatted ones, click on format printer, highlight and apply, and you can see it immediately. I can see that some of my lines are broken. Let me join them. This one should go and join the other line, space. This one here too should join the other one, space. This one should also join the other line, space. And let me check. I need a gap here and then bullet them. So I'll come here, create a gap. Let me bullet everything here. Bullet. Okay, let's check. We have spaces in all the points. So I'll come here, enter, create that space, backspace, enter, backspace, enter, backspace, enter, backspace. Here, enter, backspace, here, backspace. Because when I check here, I don't see anything like that. All right. So right now, we are very close to the end. Let me format this email. I'll click on any of the old emails and I will apply the format to this. Let's move here. Let me press the tab and it's okay. The space here is becoming too much. I'm going to use paragraph spacing to deal with it. It's gone. And now it looks like we are almost there. Let me remove the line paragraph spacing from here. Okay, it looks more like it. I can see that I have another page. So if you see that another page is created, what it means is that your line break entered that page. So you come to that page and look for the line break. So here, that's it. That's what the cursor is blinking. So all you do, come there and press backspace till the second page disappears, and now you have one page. So you can see that I have designed the brochure and it looks perfect. What I have to do now is to save as PDF. Actually, to save my work, because I have not saved, it's very bad to work to this point without saving. You should actually save immediately you begin. So let me save it so that I don't lose it. I click on save. I go to where I want to save it, and let me call it BCL brochure 2 because I've done it before. So 2. Now that it is saved, I can make it a PDF. To make it a PDF is simple. Click on File, Save As, choose a folder where you want to save it, then Save As type, you choose PDF, and you click Save, and your work is saved as PDF. Let me close the Word and look for the PDF. That is it here. Let me open it, and bingo, it looks just like the original. Our job is done. So thank you for joining us in this class. All the resource materials will be attached in the description. If you have any question, put it in the comment box and I'll answer you. I want you to like this video and share with your friends. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe in order to receive more videos, so that you can receive more videos from me. Thank you once again for joining us in this class. I will see you in the next video. Bye.